Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody.
Get 'em,
It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning, guys. Happy Monday. Hope y'all had a great weekend because, a lot happened. Here's what's happening. Front page. Yeah, so President Biden is dropping out of the 2024 presidential race.
Dropping the clues bombs for that. Round of applause.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
Finally.
The report first.
Finally.
Wow.
After intense pressure from his own party, in a letter posted on X, Biden said it was time for him to step down and focus on finishing this term as president. He also announced she is endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris, but that does not mean that it will be the official Democratic nominee. Now, Democratic leaders for weeks have expressed concerns about the 81-year-old's mental fitness and his path to victory over former President Donald Trump. Now, this also, keep in mind that Biden as of last week, he was diagnosed with COVID on Wednesday and has been in self-isolation at his beach house in Delaware. He's doing well, but still in isolation. Meanwhile, Democrats are putting on a united front following President Biden's decision not to run. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said his fellow Democrats are ramping up for the week of August 19th. That's when the Democratic National Convention goes down in Chicago. Let's hear more from Jeffries.
We will do what's necessary over the next few weeks to prepare for the convention. It'll be an exciting convention in Chicago, and you're going to see an intensity and an energy and a capacity unleashed by the American people to make sure that this goes the right way in November.
The DNC got to be popping. Like, they got to make sure that they got their whole new next wave out there at the DNC represented. They need Gretchen Whitmer on that stage. They need Wes Moore on that stage. They need Gavin Newsom on that stage. They need Josh Shapiro on that stage. They need to have Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett talking. If they want to go reach out to the world of pop culture, they better bring Olivia Pope on that stage. And Kerry Washington has done it before, but they got to introduce her as Olivia Pope. All right, they got to bring Jon Stewart on that stage. Like, they got to have that energy, going for the DNC.
You don't want to go, Charlamagne? You talk about everybody being on the stage.
No.
So Jeffries and other Democrats, of course, are split on whether to endorse VP Harris just yet, but everyone's in agreement about, the ability for the party now to win since Biden has stepped down. Now, Florida Congressman Maxwell Frost, he's also pushing back against claims that Republicans say that replacing President Biden on the ticket with Vice President Harris was a move by Democratic donors and elites. There's that word again. But he believes many factors led to Biden's decision. Let's hear more from Congressman Frost.
She said, I'm not happy to have the nomination. She said, I'm happy to have the endorsement of the president, and I will fight to earn this nomination. This is what sets our party apart from the Republican Party. This conversation was happening, and it wasn't just donors and elites. It was people on the ground, people across the country, activists, organizers, and people having this discussion. But I think he really took a moment to think about the totality of what was happening to our party, for our country, and how the risk of Donald Trump is very real and very apparent in Project 2025. And I think that's why he decided it would be best to not run for re-election. I think we need to have someone who will help us win. Obviously, a strategic choice. And as a progressive Democrat, would also like to see someone who believes in a lot of the same policies that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris pushed for in their presidency.
That's all it's about. It's about who can win, and I agree with him. It was definitely the donors. When the donors started saying no more money if you don't step down, that's when they decided to make a decision, because 70+% of the American people told them they did not want a Biden-Trump rematch.
Yeah, they did.
So the people said they never wanted this, and it's been nothing but chaos and confusion ever since. So I'm glad Biden stepped down.
I wonder what the change was, right? Because he was fighting Friday. He was like, no, I'm not stepping down. It seems like we're not stepping down.
When the donors said no more money if you don't step down. So it's all a money game at the end of the day. But I do believe what Nikki Haley said a while ago. Nikki Haley said the first party to retire its 80-year-old candidate is going to be the one who wins this election. And I believe that.
This is the first time a sitting president hasn't sought re-election in more than half a century. The last one was Lyndon B. Johnson. He dropped out in 1968, and that's following the assassination of John F. Kennedy in 1963. Now, in a post on social media, Vice President Harris did say she's honored to have the president's endorsement, and it's her intention to earn the nomination and win the nomination. So yeah, she said she will do everything in her power to unite the Democratic Party to defeat Donald Trump. And she closes by saying, we have 107 days. I think that's now 6 days until Election Day. We will fight and we will win.
And so, Donald Trump is
Yeah, I was gonna say he could come out the corner, fighting with him because that's a good matchup. He's a convicted felon.
She's a
she's a former prosecutor. It looks good.
But she gonna give him the smoke he wants.
And now Donald Trump is the old man. Donald Trump is the oldest person ever to run for president.
That's right.
I don't know if he can get through another term. Now he's gonna be the one that's up there stuttering and can't complete sentences, and is just gonna be up there rambling like he was at the DNC convention. I mean at the RNC convention.
Mm-hmm. And after that he said he could have died, so we don't know.
He's still talking about that. We'll talk about that in the next.
Yeah, he got to talk about that.
Rally.
Yeah.
That's old news. That was last week.
Yeah, that was last week.
I was the only one that felt that way. But okay.
I'm saying, I don't know. That these news cycles move fast. That's ain't nobody talk about that here no more. No. That was last week. That's a wrap.
But that's
all it is.
page
The truth of the matter. It's over.
Yeah, that was old news.
Nobody talk about that no more.
Stump a toe now. Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open. Let us know how your weekend was, what you did, all that good stuff. 800-585-1051. Get it off your chest. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Now let's get back in some front page news. What's up, Morgan?
Yeah, so over the weekend, former President Trump held a rally in Michigan. He says this election is the most important in the history of our country. And it was his first rally since the attempt on his life last weekend in Pennsylvania. Now, Trump said his life was inches from being taken away. He added that he was thankful and further talked about the love he felt at the RNC last week. Let's hear more from former President Trump.
I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here. Maybe JD or somebody else would be here, but I shouldn't be here right now. But something very special happened. Special thanks to Americans nationwide, including all of you here today, for your extraordinary outpouring of love and support in the wake of the horrific last Saturday event. It was like a big, beautiful 4-day love fest. There was no fight, there was no fight, no screams, no shouting, no get that guy off the platform. And in case there was, we had the Hulkster with us, right?
Hell, Hulk Hogan gonna do now.
Yeah, so the former president said he is in contact with the two victims who were injured in the shooting. And of course, he again talked about Corey Compertor, who was the victim who lost his life at that rally. Now, some could argue that those comments, that he's not meant to be here and all of that, maybe is not someone who is fit to be the president. But I'll move on. Meanwhile, Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle will be on Capitol Hill today as lawmakers demand answers over that assassination attempt. She'll testify before the House Oversight Committee, where she'll be questioned on how a sniper was allowed to get within shooting distance of the former president at the Pennsylvania rally. Now, many lawmakers are calling for her to step down or be fired.
I mean, I can see that.
Yeah,
somebody get a clear shot at the president like that. Somebody even gets to walk into a rally with a gun,
They have one job, protect the president, and the fact that he was so close and everybody seen him but the Secret Service agents is crazy to me.
And somebody told me one of my good partners, man, my man Chris Moreau, he was saying how he thinks that Trump would use this to disband the Secret Service and bring in his own, private security company, which would serve as like his version of like the SS Nazis, and then that eventually would grow and expand to be like his own private army.
I mean, that's a point. Mm-hmm. And that would be a justifiable point at that. I mean, you guys are doing your job.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, in other news that happened over the weekend, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee died at the age of 74. In a statement by her family, they said she was a fierce champion of the people and her legislative victories impacted millions. They added she helped establish the Juneteenth federal holiday and the reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act. The Texas Democrat announced back in June that she was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, but it's not clear that that is the reason why she passed. Now, President Biden entered the chat to pay tribute, calling her a great American who's always fearless. And he also noted that her legislative work, again, and added, the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, a bill that made Juneteenth a federal holiday. And of course, she served 30 years in Congress after being elected to the House in 1994. South Carolina Representative James Clyburn also honored her, saying they became good friends in their years working closely as Democratic whips. Let's hear more from Clyburn.
Sheila was as creative, as innovative as any person I've ever met, and she demonstrated that time and time again, and was a very, very smart and astute politician.
R.I.P. Congresswoman Sheila Jackson. You said President Biden ended the chat. That's a damn lie. That man don't know how to text.
Well, I was okay. But yeah, there were other Democratic leaders who also came out and honored her and her memory. And we got time for one more.
Yep.
Sports. You want to talk about some USA sports? Well, y'all sure y'all don't want to send Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese? Because listen, Team WNBA pulled up the upset over Team USA in the WNBA All-Star Game. The female basketball players in the world took the floor on Phoenix on Saturday. Clark, Reese, and Arce Ogunbowale. I know y'all gonna tear me up for that name. Well, they beat the U.S. Olympic.
She went crazy. She went crazy in the second half. She had 0 points in the first half. She
At
went
30
crazy
something,
in the
right?
second half.
Yeah, she went crazy.
117 to 109, just a week before the Paris Olympics were set to begin. So that was really cool. So yeah, she was named the All-Star MVP. Ogunbowale. I'm gonna do some justice. Come on, sister, help me out. Ogunbowale won All-Star Game MVP for the second time. And of course, Team USA is headlined by 42-year-old Phoenix Mercury legend Diana Taurasi and last season's WNBA MVP Breanna Stewart. So y'all send Reese and Clark over there. Stop playing. But that's your front page news. I'm Morgan Wood. You can follow me on socials at Morgan Media. And for more news coverage, of course, follow the Black Information Network at Black Information Network and BINnews.com. Woo!
All right.
Wake that ass up. Early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.